somebody try again.
Absolutely. You know, whenever I interview people, when they say, oh, I've been scammed, I've been burnt, I simply ask them, what process did you follow? And when you ask them that question, you'll see that 99% of people did not follow a process.
So true.
There is a home buying process in Ghana. And as I touched on it briefly, we have what you call the escrow services. What that means is that funds are kept in a third-party account. The lawyer does all the necessary due diligence. He's not only checking at Lands Commission for validity of the owner, but he's checking the high courts for any pending litigation. He's checking to see if there's any back taxes. He's checking to see the zoning. There are 7 places that you need to check to make sure that that land is good to go. But while you're doing your checks, you're not giving a deposit directly to the seller. You're putting it in.
Improved over the years. So now almost every land has a barcoded site plan. So it's not very likely that you have 2 people having that land at the same time. And then of course the registration process are quicker and faster, much more professional like in the past. People have held on to properties for 25 years, 10 years in the past with no registrations, and they'll be able to keep it. But these days, you will be able to register your land, get a title at most within a year. So things have significantly improved. I want to encourage everybody, and not just lands, even in buying houses and apartments, the flexibility of payment. So to encourage you, as professionals, we've seen it, we believe there is something there for you. I don't know, Hannah, but I don't think too many other things make sense to invest in Ghana now than real estate. But I'll leave it to them. Please, anybody has a question, I'll come to you. I have the microphone, please. Anybody with a question? Anybody with a question? Anybody question? Yes, there's a hand here. Please mention your name, sir, and then straight to your question.
Thank you very much. My name is Charles. Thank you, Hannah, for a very good presentation. My question on the short-term rentals in Ghana. It has to do with what makes short-term rentals in Airbnb more profitable than the long-term lease in Accra, specifically?
Great question. So as I mentioned before, is that you charge it on a nightly basis. So let me give you an example. A studio in Cantonments, short-term rental, right, $150 a night. Conservatively speaking, let's say 20 out of the 30 nights are booked, right? That's 150 times 20. Can someone do the calculations, please? 150 times 20. But typically, long-term, for a furnished studio could be anywhere from $1,500 to $1,700. So what did we get for 150 times 20 nights?
3,000. $3,000.
$3,000. And it's booked 20 nights out of the 30, as opposed to the long-term rental, which is a fixed price, $1,500 to $1,700 a month. So that's where you get a higher return.
Thank you. Okay, so my next question is on the commercial spaces. It has to do with why choose a shop in Cantonment or Ridge for steady income? A shop in Cantonment or Ridge for a steady income?
It doesn't have to be Cantonments or Ridge. Remember I said that we should invest strategically. You can choose a shop at Meqasa Market. You can have retail space in Meqasa Market. And it's always booked. It's always full. So the key thing is, where should I have this retail space that I know there are a lot of businesses in that area and they would need to showcase their products in that space. So it doesn't have to be a prime area. It just has to be a strategic area.
So my last question, that is on land banking. Okay, so how can a land banking integrate with short-term rental or commercial development to diversify a real estate portfolio?
Yeah, so you can decide, first of all, it depends on your financial goals, right? And your financial strength. But if you're able to buy maybe, let's say, a studio in Cantonments, and then you can have land in Shy Hills, and then you can have commercial space at Makala Market. You've diversified your portfolio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Guy sounds like a university lecturer. Please, round of applause for him. Anybody else with another question? Nice, are you with us? Anybody with a question on land banking rights? Thank you. Please, can I have the microphone? Yes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Ibtisama Modestero Sidamba, and I'm an SHS graduate who is seeking to go more into Ghana real estate industry. And then my question is, when you are evaluating a property deal in Ghana's less regulated environment, what are your non-negotiable red flags?
Wow.
I know, right? For high school graduates.
Yes.
Please, big one for her now.
Yes. I love that. And let me just tell you, I love to see women in real estate. In Ghana, only 8.1% of women own property. So I see that you're going to be the change maker there. All right. So your question is, in terms of valuation, what are some of the red flags you can identify up front to prevent you from maybe purchasing in that particular area?
Non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable, yeah. So prevent you from purchasing non-negotiables in those areas. So with valuation, you want to typically look at appreciation value. So there are some areas that, of course, if they have high crime rate in those areas, you're not going to get a high demand in those areas, right? So you want to do your market research on those areas. Also, one of the non-negotiables is if water or electricity is not coming to those areas. So you want to buy land where you know that place can be serviced, water, electricity, etc., coming to those areas. So those are some of the things to look out for. Service areas and making sure that it's a safe environment as well, because people are going to be living there, right? So those are the key things.
All right. If I may I go
Yes,
ahead?
please.
Also, you want to check for things like flood-prone areas. You should be very careful about these things. So somebody advised some time ago that if you are buying land, the best time to go is when it's raining. So look out for those things. Some places also are zoned for certain things, like they're going to be government projects. Maybe it's going to be a market in one day or something. So you'll be there and government's taking over the land. Usually, typically what happens is that you'll be compensated if it's a place that is zoned for something else, maybe commercial, you want to do residential. But of course, do as much research as you can. And then one thing I've also found is that ask questions. For people who even live in the neighborhood, they do understand the locality way more than any other person. For the people living in the locality, even if you're somebody, you've done all your checks, you've got the answers, ask the neighbor to the land. What do you know about this land? It serves a lot, but thank you so much.
I want to touch on something I mentioned earlier about there's 7 places that we check, and one of them, as he touched on, is zoning. I'll give a real example here. Somebody had bought land, built their dream home there. Years later, somebody came and built a pig farm right across from the dream home. If some of you can imagine the stench, the traffic, etc., right? So they went to report them to the zoning board, and guess what? It was actually zoned commercial. So if they had done the checks in this area years ago, they would probably have not built their dream residential home there.
And that's why, conservatively, we do advise people to, as much as you can, aim to buy land from service plots, buy from developers, because usually they've done all these things. And you don't want to build, you want to buy a land, build your dream home, and the next person has, how do you call it, Kenika shop, a corn mill shop next to you. You want to be very careful about these things. And there are quite a number of developers at the fair. This is a Meqasa 8th edition of the Meqasa Home and Properties Fair. There are a number of developers, number of real estate companies here. who are exhibiting. Talk to them. Some of them are selling service plots, and you may take advantage from that. Please, we need more questions. If you have a question, I see quite a number of our industry people here. I see Ediauka in the house. Ediauka with us. Ediauka is a seasoned real estate broker. I see Franco Kante. I see people from Ewells. I see a number of them here. Please, if you need to talk to a professional, we are here. Hannah is very happy to talk to you after this session as well. Anybody with a question? Anybody? Any more questions? Any more questions? Yes, I see a hand there. Microphone.
Is it off? I can talk. Okay. Hello, Hannah. My name is David. I work with Green Rock Realtor. Just a quick question. What's the housing deficit in Ghana?
The housing deficit, this housing deficit,
Yeah, I
you
mean-
know, it fluctuates from 1.8 to 2 million units.
Okay, and then
I know your
from
next question. Go ahead.
From your professional point of view, what is the demand more skewed towards, low-end housing or high-end housing? Because what I see on the market is there's an overemphasis on high-end housing versus what most people could afford. I don't know what the total investment, dollar terms, CD terms, is in high-end houses versus low-end housing.
Yeah.
But I think there's a distortion somewhere. So my question is, why is there an overemphasis on high-end housing when there's clearly demand for low-end housing that is justified by the numbers, with regards to the housing deficit and what people could afford? I don't know whether...
Yes,
you've looked at
so let me say this. In my opinion, there is a greater demand for affordable housing. There is. And those who do build affordable houses, they sell much more quickly. I'll give you an example. There's a developer in Kaswa that we all know about, Blue Rose. He's built over 1,000. I think he's at 2,000 units he's built, and they're all sold out, right? The problem is, as I mentioned earlier, we have emotional buyers. People don't want to live in Kaswa. And also with the road network and the infrastructure, it takes you so long to get from Kaswa into Accra. But if we could start purchasing properties in the outskirts or have developers build in the outskirts more affordable, you'll find that properties are selling much faster. I know developers who do affordable homes and the properties sell out very, very quickly. So yes, we are in an environment where the average income earner, we are more towards the lower to middle class. So it makes more sense to build affordable housing. Thank you.
I think there was a recent publication, a recent research. I thought that's what I was going to ask the question about, but that indicated that we had about 1.8 million housing deficits. But in the same report, stated that we have about 1.3 surplus buildings, right? Now, yes, to a greater extent, there's overemphasis on the high end. So we have a huge housing deficit, yet we have a surplus on the market. Now, the thing is that, to a larger extent, what we call affordable housing is also affordable, right? Many people still struggle to buy what we call affordable housing because you are still looking at minimum 700, 800K Ghana cedis, which is still not very affordable to quite a number of people. But for me, and per experience, and I think Ghana will agree with me, there's a very sweet spot if you're a developer or somebody entering the market. That sweet spot between $80,000 to about $150,000. If you're able to do something in a fairly good location, not so far from Accra, and do something decent, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, within that price, not beyond Adenta maybe, not beyond Kwabenya, not beyond, if you're doing the West, maybe not too far from Community 18, and then not far from the Pokwasi area. There's quite a number of people on the market with a budget for that. It's a very sweet spot, but the problem is that to be able to get land, build something quality, and be able to sell at that price is where the challenge is. So whoever is a developer, whoever is looking to go into the market, that's something you should be thinking about. That sweet spot between 1,800K to about 150,000. Other than that, it's very easy for me to invest my money, build in Councilments, build in Laboni, build in East Legon, build in East Legonios, and sell it twice or 50% more the cost of building. That's why a lot more people are doing what is in a surplus. But there's reason to it. So yes, if you're looking for something affordable, there are people still doing that. You should be able to talk to them. I mean, it's a fair, we can't mention all the names, but do your research, talk to people like Hannah, and of course, they'll be able to guide you towards that market. Right? Anybody else with a question? Very happy to help you. Same for land also. There are places you can invest in, get very good returns, but it may not be exactly what you want, but give it time, we'll appreciate in value. Any more questions? CTF, have we get any questions online? Any questions online? Any more questions? All right. So, Frank has a question.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Franco Kante. I'm a realtor, life insurance consultant, and an MC. Thank you, Hannah, for the presentation. That was great. So I want to find out, like you mentioned, most people want to buy these high-end properties at very good locations because when it comes to real estate, location is what it is, okay? Now, would you advise that as much as the pricing is involved, would you advise someone to buy such properties using a mortgage or using cash? Thank you.
Yeah, so it's not a cookie cutter explanation. I can't generalize that, right? So what I would do is I would look at your financial strength because everybody is different in where they are financially. So if you can afford a mortgage with an interest rate, of 11 to 15%, go for it. But if you're not able to afford that mortgage, and it also depends on your income, right? If you have a dollar income or a CD income, if it's a CD income, you're going to be looking at 28% on a mortgage. So cash may be the better option for you to purchase that property that way. So I would look at your holistic situation and then be able to advise.
Thank you very much. Just a follow-up question. Is it fair for the developer to go like, you know what, because you're buying this property with a mortgage, I'm selling it for $260,000, but if you're going to give me cash, then I'm going to sell it for you at $220. Would that be fair?
Oh, and you're asking me that question, and all the developers are looking at me now, right? Whew. Well,
Hannah wants to plead the fifth.
Well, I know developers do that. And the reason for doing that is they want to incentivize you to pay cash because cash is quicker and the mortgage takes time, right? It could take 60, 90 days to get you approved for a mortgage. And even in that time frame, there's a possibility that you may not get the mortgage and they've taken the property off the market for that period of time. So the thought process behind that is to encourage you or incentivize you to pay quicker so that they could build quicker. So that's how I'm going to answer that question. Thank you.
All right, so we are going to wrap this up. If you have any more questions after this session, please talk to us. Hannah will be here. We have a conversation. But Hannah, thank you so much. Please, final words. Anything. I see fairly younger people here. Anybody want to get into the industry? Where should they start from? What's easier to do?
Well, the first thing is you can tune in every Saturday, 6 p.m. on the Homeowner Show on Metro TV. I'm the host, and I will be talking to you on that platform, all things about being a first-time home buyer in Ghana. But I want to encourage everybody, let's change the narrative. Overseas, people are becoming millionaires through real estate. Let's change the narrative in Ghana and the continent, and let's start building real estate. Let's start building generational wealth through real estate, one house at a time, right here in Ghana. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's change the narrative. They are very trusted real estate developers in Ghana now. Not every one of them is a scam. They are very trusted real estate brokers in Ghana also. Talk to them, licensed run, talk to them, work with professionals, and let's all continue to invest in real estate. Thank you very much. It's the Meqasa Home and Property Fair happening right here at the Icon. in East Legon. We are here today and tomorrow. Please do pass by. There are many developers in house, many people in the real estate build space. You can talk to them, you can buy something, you can commit to something with a great discount, and you can engage with so many people here. Thank you very much. See you.
Yes, so let's give it up for them. Thank you very much. That is Chief Cosmos, and a very thank you to Jesse for her insightful presentation. Please, we are not done. We still have our developers around. You could walk through the booths, have all the conversations, and we are ready to answer it. Tomorrow, same time, we have another insightful seminar. It is going to be delivered by a real estate attorney who goes by the name Lawyer Emmanuel Sate Matekoli. He will be delivering his seminar, his speech. It's on the due diligence steps you need to take before purchasing any property in Ghana. The due diligence steps you need to take before purchasing any property in Ghana. We've heard of so many issues across the country. So you wouldn't want to fall victim to any of these scams. So tomorrow, same time, please do all to be part of tomorrow's seminar. In the meantime, let's have some fun. DJ, give us some very fine music whilst we go through the booths. Thank you, and see you around.
All right, sure. So this has been day one of the Meqasa Home and Property Fair 2025 at the Icon Event Center here at East Legon in Accra. We've gone through the booth. We've spoken to a number of the exhibitors and vendors here, as well as some of the financiers, the interior decorators, as well as those providing smart home living solutions. And just gone by was the seminar on investment when it comes to, real estate here in the country. It's just day one. Day two continues tomorrow, same time, same venue, same exhibitors, same organizers. But thank you so much for staying with us for our live coverage of the 2025 Meqasa Home and Property Fair. I am Neil Latte. Many thanks indeed for watching. Keep watching Channel 1 Television.